Hi, everybody. I'm Andrea,
And I'm Adina.
and this video is a reply to questions asked during our Date Your Job free chat every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., where we invite you and everybody working in corporate environment to tell us about your job and to find a way together to enjoy these corporate jobs we're having. Um, we chose to reply through videos put on YouTube because we are sure that these replies will help anybody, not just the person asking it. If you want to know more, subscribe to our channel. And the questions we are asking, the question we are answering to right now, refers to having as main difficulty to succeed in avoiding burnout rush hour. And it leads me to traffic and how people hate rush hour. But guess what? Rush hour is a reality. How do you avoid rush hour? Organization, time management. You just ignore it's rush hour and you pretend it's like any other day. How do you travel each day in and out of work? How many times did you catch the rush hour? Is it different? Has has it ever been different? Do you know what's different and what's the commonality between all of this? You. The only thing you can actually change is you and how you react to things. And we have a very interesting proposition. Instead of reacting, respond. What's the difference between reaction and response? It's a infinitesimal pause between reaction, between thought and action. When it's straight through, thought action, it's reaction. When there's a break, it becomes a response. And in that break, your mind kicks in. You can formulate a response. So it takes some involvement. It takes control. It takes power, and it's a different perspective. It gives you power and control over a situation in which you definitely have no power and not control. But what the only thing you can control is your reaction. And it's interesting that the common triggers are false emergencies and monitoring evaluation of response rates, the dreaded SLAs, the dreaded response rates, the the agreed on times where we need to do something that's very dear with corporations and it can be measured. Yes, we all have that. How do we deal with it? And I have an example for you. No matter, so you need to respond within a certain time. And before you need to respond, while preparing, your heart rate goes up, your cheeks go red, your pulse beats faster, then you start babbling. I need to do that, and I need to do that, and I need to do that faster, faster, faster. And you end up doing nothing or making mistakes because you are so stressed. You need to meet the deadline. You forget you actually have some time before that. And it's automatic because we enter in this survival mode of, and we don't think anymore. We forget. And it's so easy to go there because it's so automatic. We have tools and tips and energy tools and practices to slow that down. And there is a fight with SLAs. And because you are such a good girl or a good person, you want to do right and to do the job perfectly, to perform at your best and to meet that damn SLA. It's not always possible. How do you communicate that? How do you communicate it's too much for you? How do you monitor your colleagues? How do you communicate to them? We need to do something else. We need to change. Do you brainstorm together? Are you a one-man show? Do you do everything by yourself? How does your body behave when you do that? Do you realize the stress you are putting yourself into? Not the environment, but yourself. Because there is a difference between the stress the environment puts on you and the stress you put on yourself to perform. And when those two meet, burnout. It's a recipe for burnout. Colleagues rushing with emergencies and just it pumps your system even more. Take the time, slow down, breathe, and formulate a response. Because your pattern is jump. When something happens, and then immediately your system goes into fight flight mode, adrenaline pops out, and you just jump. You forget about everything. You forget what you're doing. If you're in the middle of something, you definitely let that, and you have to start all over. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And it's very interesting how we create this emergency in ourselves. We're so used to it, it becomes familiar. And it's difficult to slow down. I am a high energy person, so I am used to doing things fast. Doing things fast sometimes means you miss things. So I learned to have another look, and the third one, and the fourth one sometimes. I start emails, I start replying to something, and I realize I'm going too fast. I need to have another look. So I leave it. I take a break, or I do something else, or I go make myself a cup of tea or coffee or something. I don't drink coffee anymore, but I'm sure you do. And get back to it. Have another look. Communicate that some responses need more time. Everybody will understand that. Yes, there are projects, there are budget, there are important things. And I'm sure time management, prioritization, organization, everything needs to be tipped up. Well, in this equation, the cost is your health. Is it worth it? How do you take yourself out of this roller coaster of emergency situations and you set up to respond, not to react? And it's a process. It takes time, it takes patience with yourself, and it's a process involving many dimensions: your thoughts, your body, your feelings. It means becoming your own observer and setting yourself up so you stay calm. The same way you set up for success or for emergency, you can set yourself up to remain in a state where you can look at things from a balanced, as objective as possible perspective. It's a process, it takes time, but it is possible. And slowing down is essential, especially when you are working in the rush hour with rushed people who do everything. We are taught to perform, and I understand perfectly. I perform very well in high pressure environments. This is a lesson that corporation has given me again and again, and I raised up to the challenge, and I do extremely well under pressure. Deadlines, wow. The night before, amazing. We do everything then for a short period of time. I cannot sustain this forever. I don't want to sustain this forever because it costs me my health. So now I set myself different targets, different boundaries. Hope this helps. How about you, Adina? What do you think?
I think SLA are the, well, bread and butter of companies, aren't they? And they make sense. You need to measure things. You need to have some standards, and also have customers who are expecting an answer in a certain amount of time. And normally, I hope you're all in a normal company, whatever means normal for you. You have a high, you have a low, you have a medium. You should maintain yourself at least at the medium. If you want to go more up, then you do more. So if that's okay, then it's the amount of work. You only have an amount of time during the day that you can work. Everything else it means you're exhausting yourself and you don't have enough energy to do that. You won't have energy for the rest of your life outside work, and I don't think it's worth it. Colleagues that can trigger your false urgency, it sounds like it's about them. It's never about the other people, how you react. For me, if anybody can come, stress, not stress, and you can look at them as like, are you having a good day? No. Is everything okay with you? You'll be surprised when somebody comes with an emergency to you and you're switching from the job into the emotional, asking, are you okay? Is everything fine? You will say, oh, am I rushing you? Oh, something happened. Oh, I'm sorry. Be the observer with that person. Help them help themselves. But more important, help yourself. Notice, why are you in the rush? Why can somebody trigger you? Yes, the emergency can be created, the urgency can be created from outside, but the point is, how do you react to it? If somebody's telling you that, I don't know, you need to run for 10,000 miles because that's what they want, what are you going to say? No. Well, it's the same with any urgency, that people perceive what is urgent. And that's the funny thing. What is urgent, actually? I'm not talking about doctors or people in, first line responses where it's actually life and death and it's threatening, and firefighters and all that. That's a whole different thing. They are trained for that. They are trained for emergency situation. They are trained how to deal with it. That's why they need to be composed. That's why doctors don't operate on family, because that's where they wouldn't be able to. It's emotional. In any other jobs in corporation, this false sense of urgency makes that feel important. So ask yourself if you feel validated and more important because you are delivering in whatever certain amount of time. And then if there is a point of, yeah, but if you don't do that, the customer is not going to get the answer in time and they're not going to be happy. So that will count towards your review or annual evaluation. They make sure the expectations are written there and clear. For me, in my experience managing teams, quality is over everything. So many times people said, yeah, but the other one did more or did less. First of all, don't compare yourself with the other. That's the job of the manager. I can do that. I can look at numbers. If you have access, look at it. But we're not going to discuss why other people do different. We're all different, right? So focus on you. And then look, for me, what's important. And I was working in very high pressure environments in different function. Is that customer coming back? The one who is getting the reply? Because if it is, it doesn't matter how fast you reply to it. That costs the company more time because they are replying, then somebody else needs to pick up, and that somebody else, if it's not you, in general it's not, they need to understand what you already talked about. So then you need to go through history. Hopefully there is a smart system and you have a history of the conversation, because if it's the new email, then you wouldn't even know what's happened before, right? You wouldn't see the ticket. So then it's another time to find the ticket or everything related to that ticket in the system. Waste of time, right? So it was always about quality, and it was making sure that the team is trained and they can deliver at a certain level that they are comfortable, and they can ask questions, and they can understand what is urgent. Urgency is usually created from other people's perspective. I want the answer now. Yes, I want also a lot of things in life. They don't happen in the same time, but is anybody going to die now if I don't reply to that email? If anybody, no. Well. So look at that. Look at this objectively, and about the rush and about the other people. I'm very curious. What would you advise yourself if your best friend will come with this problem to you? What would you say? Try to observe your reaction, at least. And this is one of the things we're doing in our course, because it's so important to become your observer of your thoughts, of your emotions, of how you feel, and what actions you take. Just observe yourself for a day like you were your roommate. and you look at you, and there is a very good book that I'm reading now, The Untethered Soul, about the roommate in your head, which is your self-talk telling you what an idiot you are when you do mistakes or what you didn't achieve or what idiots there are, right? And just monitor. What do you think you're telling yourself or you're telling others? You'll be surprised if you note down um, a day in your life at work and then another day, maybe start just with the morning, you will realize, and this is a scientific fact, that now we have around 80,000 thoughts per day. No, actually, we have between 60 and 70,000 thoughts per day. Imagine somebody measured that. And every day, around 90%, it's a repetition of the previous thoughts. So you're putting yourself into this loop of thoughts every day. So you're starting the day already set up for the rush, for the false emergency, for the SLA, for all that, expecting these things will happen. Change it. We offer so many tools on that, how to change that inside you, how you can make the switch. Yes, it's so easy as it sounds, which I know it's amazing, but it is so easy as it sounds. You start observing yourself, what conversation you have with yourself, what you're telling yourself, what you accept, where are your boundaries, if you have any, when do you say yes, when do you say no? And then you start changing them because you want to have, we have an amazing brain, we have neuroplasticity, everything can change. You can have different neural pathways. Imagine changing that. Imagine like weeds in a garden, you take all this rubbish out and you plant new seeds, new things, where you can enjoy the job, where the rush, for me, the rush in general, it excites me. Let's see what we can do. But in my bandwidth, in my capacity, wherever I'm comfortable. See that. It's absolutely amazing. And if you want more tools and tips and tricks, please subscribe. You will receive them. And if you want to work with us, contact us. We're happy to help with everything that we learn in our 40 years of work together.
together.
We're not so young, not so old. We're very, very young at heart. So thank you very much for the answers. And I hope it helps what we told you.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.